No, but seriously, when did you guys get back? I think he's got back around the same time, right?
I got back like the 20th of March, I think. Around
I was a day. I think it was the day after you, Kenny.
Yeah, Will was messaging me, and he didn't even know if he was going to get back, which is.
I had no clue. Yeah, because San Fran shut down the night before I was meant to fly back, so we were all kind of worried if I would even get back.
Where were you when you found out about it? Obviously, you guys were in the middle of your season or towards the end of your season.
We were
we had a couple weeks left
to warm up for a game. So like the NBA got cancelled. Like everyone was on their phones before our game, and then the NBA got cancelled, and we knew we were about to be done as well. And then we went and warmed up. We didn't even know if we were going to play. Ended up playing that game, and then after that, we were done. So yeah.
Yeah, we were pretty much the same. We pretty much found out at halftime, and like you pretty much can't finish the game at halftime. So we just finished that game, but like the whole second half, we knew like our season was done.
Where were you sitting? Where were you sitting though?
Oh, we were in the locker room.
No, not physically sitting.
What are you talking about? Wait, what are you talking about? What's going on right now? I'm
on the ladder.
Where are you sitting on the ladder?
Oh, I think we were second last.
Oh, true. So, yeah. Where were you guys, Kenny?
We're making a late push, but we probably weren't going to make it.
Yeah. So, for the third time, what was the G League like compared to the NBL and stuff?
Yeah. No, the G League's cool. I actually enjoyed it. Well, I didn't really enjoy DC, but no, when I was in LA, I really enjoyed it. But it's fun because you can play all the time. Like you have games coming all the time, so training's not that hectic. Whereas like NBL, you train all week, super hard, just for 1 or 2 games a week. And like say for example, you play bad in those 2 games, you don't really have another game coming in 2 days' time where you can make up for it. You have to wait another week and practice super hard. So, I don't know. I think it's fun. Like everyone wants to play more than they want to train, obviously, even though some people don't want to admit it. But yeah, I enjoy the G League. I thought it was good.
I think anyone who doesn't admit that is lying to themselves. But what did you think about it, Will?
Yeah, true.
No, I think the biggest thing was just the scheduling, like Kenny said. I mean, it's pretty much 3 games a week, maybe 4. The recovery time is pretty hard to take everybody quicker to make sure you can play in it, because sometimes you'll have back-to-backs, you'll have a game, daybreak game sort of thing, and sometimes I know for us it was kind of tough to get up for some games because like with the team we had so much talent, but we couldn't work together as a team. But so it was it's tough, like especially when you start losing. When you keep losing, it gets tough because you're always playing, and it's just like all you want to do is just take time off, so you can get in a better mental mindset rather than physically. But like I said, it's just tough from a schedule standpoint. You're pretty much always doing something every day.
And what was it like for you, Kenny? Obviously, you went to DC first. What was that like? And then you happily got to go to LA instead. What was that like?
No, it was weird, because like I didn't think I was going to be homesick really when I went to America. Like, but then when I landed, as soon as I landed, I was like, shit, I'm actually living in America. Like,
he was missing those coffees and beaches and taking photos, or
yeah, exactly. I don't know, like, yeah, I was a little bit homesick, and it was like, I don't know, not the best environment. Like, I didn't absolutely love it, and I came with a couple injuries and niggles and whatnot, which kind of just slowed my start of my season down, and kind of I don't know. But then I got released and then signed with LA, which was like a blessing in disguise. But I was stoked to be in LA. But DC was just it was dark and gloomy, and everyone hates life, and it's just getting an Uber, they don't say anything. No one. It's just, it's rough. So I was happy, but actually the basketball wasn't too bad in DC though. To be fair, they have a pretty good setup. It was one of the only teams that trained where the NBA team trained, so it's pretty cool.
What about you, Will? You were sort of signed and then had some weird stuff happen with contracts and stuff. What was that like to deal with, and then ended up staying there to be in the G League team? What was that like to deal with?
It wasn't that hard to deal with because I knew I was going to be with the G League team regardless of what was going to happen. Me, because I had Matua Maker there, so another Australian, another guy. I've been around him a bit, so it was easy for me rather than Kenny just getting dumped into DC with no one. So like overall, it made my kind of like my season a lot easier with him there, and like Kenny, I had an injury coming into it, so I was pretty much on minutes restriction the whole season. Got injured twice, so it was up and down, but no, it turned out for the best when you really think about it.
Did you both have foot injuries?
Nah.
I don't know what Kenny had.
So I got one of my best mates doesn't even know what was wrong with me. So
he didn't tell me.
Tripped over his head.
Tell me shit.
I was working out with a couple teams like when I went to America before I got like drafted in the G League draft, and I just did a bunch of traveling before I went over there, and my training was like really like spotty, and like it was hard to get on court some days and whatnot, and I was trying to sort out my visa and everything, and then I trained once on like a concrete court, and my calf pulled up a bit sore, and I just had like a calf strain. And then the calf strain led to like a hamstring strain, and it was just like a bunch of like little niggles that just kept me out for a while. And I was like rehabbing for the first like probably like a month and a bit that I was in DC. It was hard to get in rotation after that.
You need to try my method, mate. Just have no muscles so you don't get injured.
Yeah,
that's the way we do it.
Yeah.
Mate, the other day when I was just walking around my house, and I turned my ankle completely. It didn't hurt at all.
What is going on?
I know that's a little bad, bro.
Mate, the people behind me were like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "What happened?"
Were you drunk? You might have been drunk. You were drunk, mate.
No.
Oh,
I don't go
you on your face.
Apart from if it's in a club. Mate, you've all seen me. I don't roll my ankle when I'm drunk. I'm more coordinated when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Although Kenny hasn't seen me because he never goes out.
Brayden's too busy just writing down notes of how many drinks people have had on the field.
Well, it's not hard to take notes when you just take two and then you pass out, mate.
He's asking other people to pay for it.
When did that ever happen? Never.
Oh, Will had to bring it up. Will had to bring it up. Man, that was one night, and that makes up for the years I shouted you.
Whoa, hold on a second. I was with Dicko the whole time.
When
we're going out. I never went out with you once.
When you turned 18,
and then one time I went out with you, you made me pay like $500 for bottles and everything. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, Brayden, no. Flex on everyone with bottles.
That was one time.
America.
And that was my birthday.
Yeah, so why do I have to pay? It's your birthday. You pay.
You guys got to, when you guys met up in Vegas, was that for the showcase or something?
Yeah.
What happened there? Is it like a little tournament sort of thing?
Yeah, pretty much every G League team's there.
Yeah. Play 2 games. I mean, over a couple of days. Yeah.
It's actually pretty fun though, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I enjoy it.
Like everybody's in like the same hotel, like, so I mean, like everybody's just there, so you don't have to like go other places to meet someone and stuff like that. And plus we had like the NBA Academy, so like Tamarai and all that were there. So our guys, me and Kenny, knew they were younger than us. We got to see them a little bit as well.
Yeah, okay. Did you guys meet up in Vegas? Did you have some fun in Vegas or what?
Mate, this guy was messing me every night. I was like, I can't go out every night. I can't meet you every night.
Mate, that's probably the only time in his life he's wanted to go out multiple nights.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Nah, we did go out for dinner though. We went out for dinner.
Yeah,
for dinner.
We went out to an Aussie Outback, and we were just shaking our heads the whole time.
It's not Aussie at all.
Not Aussie at all. Yeah.
No. So
yeah. No, it was good though. It was good to see Will. Even though I wouldn't usually admit that, but just like being around like Americans all the time.
Yeah. Like it does take a toll on you when you have to be.
Why? Why? What do they do that?
It's not like they're cool, man. Like, don't get me wrong, they're cool, but it's just like, you know, you want to be around people who are similar to you, and like, I don't know, we just have different sense of humors. Like,
everything's just different.
Everything's different.
Yeah, I remember one time I FaceTimed you, and I can't remember what I said to start off, and you were like, "Oh my god, it's good to hear an Australian's voice."
Yeah, bro, it's so good. But the thing is, like, even just like little things, like you walk into the locker room, and like the only thing that's said is just them repeating what you said. Like they don't actually have a conversation half the time. It's more just like, "Oh, how you going, mate?" Or like,
yeah. And I was sitting there like saying, like, "Shut up."
Like, yeah, that's how I speak.
Did you tell anyone to shut up, Will?
I think everybody on the team.
Will's getting in scuffles on his own team because they're
like it's not bad when you have to repeat it once or twice, but when you have to keep doing it
every single day,
it's just like, shut up. Like, I'm not talking to you anymore.
What was who was the toughest players? Obviously, you guys had played against players coming down from the NBA and stuff. Who were the toughest players you played against while you were over there?
That's actually a hard question.
Yeah, that's tough.
Not really.
Probably Jalen LeCue for us.
Who?
Jalen LeCue from Suns.
You play so many games, bro. Half the time I hear a name, I'm like one ear.
Yeah.
What was he like, Will? Why was he so tough?
I mean, he pretty much molds his game off Russ, and he has like the same body, He probably has more athleticism than Russ. It's just like it's really tough to stop him because he's always going 100 miles an hour, and like he just doesn't stop.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Kenny?
I actually don't know, man. I can't think.
Here we go.
Nah, for real. Like I actually can't pick one.
Me?
Yeah, Will. Even though we didn't.
Did you guys play against each other?
Nah, I wish. Actually, no, I don't wish because if we played against each other, we'd just be laughing the entire.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been good. It wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, that's what I always say to Will. That's what me and Will always say about each other when I'm coaching. We can't play against each other apart from when he comes back when my team's up by 30. Oh, you're on that team too. When he comes back by 30 against. Remember, we were up by 30 against Spartans in QBL, my first year up there.
Oh yeah.
After the first quarter, and they came back and beat us.
Yeah.
Even then, Will's talking trash to me, man. He thought I said something. I didn't even say anything to him. It was his own teammate that said something.
No, it was Kenny. Kenny said something. Hold up, bitch.
I would never say something to you.
No.
Yeah, I would. If we did say something to each other, it'd just be a joke.
Yeah, it'd be a joke. I don't think we'll have ever said anything serious to each other in our lives.
Yeah, I can't recall.
I maybe said a couple of things when I was your assistant coach with CJ. That's probably about it.
No, I remember when the game you coached, the last game, you said to get your triple-double.
And you didn't, did you?
And I said, do you see who I'm playing with?
That'll have to be cut.
No way. I'm keeping that.
No way.
What was wrong with the people you play with? No, I won't get into that.
Yeah, let's just keep that off camera.
Let's remind you, though, we won that game when I was coaching. I was 23 at the time.
Jesus. Retired at 22. That's great.
Retired at age 22, mate, you know.
That's like me and Kenny retiring right now.
Yeah.
Over with.
Same level of talent from all of us as well.
Exactly.
Honestly, I'm thinking about hanging them up.
I got invites from the AIS and everything too. when I was playing Division 2 and juniors.
Stop.
Mate, don't hate on my basketball playing ability. All right.
Yeah, we've had some memorable games in the past.
We have, yes. We have. I actually asked the coach from Northside for that tape a couple weeks ago. He didn't have it. Yeah. So, mate, Kenny wishes he would have played with me.
Oh, especially that year. You had to play with Brayden that year.
Mate, shit talk deluxe.
I reckon I'd get so angry at you at practice, I'd probably swing at you.
No. Why? No. Oh, because of my shit talk at practice.
You'd be annoying. Practice, I reckon.
You didn't even practice, though.
My last year, I didn't practice because if I wanted to play, I couldn't practice because of my knees.
Literally.
Age 22.
22, man.
Not good,
Oh,
No,
it's gonna be part of your prime.
I was already not in good shape, so imagine what the shape blew out to that year.
Oh, jeez.
Although I did send you guys footage from the last game in the grand final a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, the straight line drive?
Yeah, mate. And the 2 threes as soon as I got on. Come on now. Anyway, enough of me.
Whole podcast about Brayden.
About fucking Div 2 basketball.
Oh, Brayden Div 2.
What was played in LA like, Kenny?
Yeah, LA was sick. It's perfect. It's probably like the only place in America I could live, I reckon. Like just sunny all the time, good weather. Everyone's chill. Everyone's happier because it's sunny. Like the day I walked into the Lakers facility, I was like, man, everyone's so chill here. This is sick. Like everyone's just, it was like a message before training, the day before. It's like, hey guys, training at 3, see you there. Like shucker emoji. Like everyone's just so good. It was perfect. So no, I loved it. It was sick. The boys were sick as well. It was like it was a good group of guys. Yeah, it was mad.
You guys had a bit of a following compared to most G League teams too, eh?
Yeah. I mean, Lakers fans are crazy. Like when I went to DC, like a couple of people would message me here, there, whatnot, like from DC. But like when I went to Lakers, it was like heaps of people DMing me and stuff.
Those DMs grew.
But yeah.
Oh, shit, the direct message.
We'll know all about that. No.
Oh, okay. Let's stop there.
But yeah, no, it was sick. That Lakers fans are pretty loyal, so it's cool.
No following in Rio Grande,
Mexico.
Look, not like that. Not like that. But no, it was pretty cool though.
Yeah, what were the crowds in that like at your games?
No, they were pretty good. We had a big arena. It was like maybe 1 or 2 years old, so everything was new. So everybody kind of came just to experience the new arena, I guess. I don't know if they really wanted to watch us play, but no, it kind of felt like a little NBA arena. Like, I think it seats like 10,000 people. Probably about half would show up to games. People see you out in the streets and stuff, and they all say hello and just want to have a little conversation. So, it was pretty cool just to see how people can be nice over there. Pretty much. I mean, we're basically in Mexico, so we got El Chapo's people out there. We got them all there hanging around. We got all the drugs coming through. But no.
Oh boy.
But no, like in all seriousness, it was pretty cool because it's like, I mean, it's just a little town in itself, and like you can't really get distracted there. It was kind of like I compared it to my time in Germany, where it was like just a small town. You can't really get distracted. Just spend all your time pretty much at the gym or the arena. But no, I enjoyed it. I would do it again, even though they want me back there. I would do it again, but we'll have to see what happens.
Did any of you get to experience your cities outside of basketball? Like obviously, Will, you just said there's not much going on in yours.
Yeah.
But even when you're traveling, did any of you touch the bar scene, or what did you do? Did you go see the sights or anything?
We did in LA. When we came to LA, we'd go out and do stuff. But, I mean,
bro, the rest of the cities, most G League cities are terrible, bro. Like,
yeah,
nothing to do.
They're bad. They're bad.
No one around.
What was the worst place you played in?
Sioux Falls.
Yeah, I didn't go there. I heard that's bad though.
Sioux Falls.
Fort Wayne was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah,
that sucks.
Stockton's pretty bad.
Stockton, bro. I had the craziest man. Me, David Stockton, and Marcus from my team. We went and got some food. We get in this Uber, bro. The car smells like shit. This chick is like on crack, I reckon. This chick literally on crack, driving like off the road. Like, man, she was on something for sure. And she was telling me how like her cousin would have sex with her like other cousin or some like weird ass story. And like her husband was like printed on the front of the car. Like she had like a little like cutout of her husband. And she's like 60, 70 years old or whatever. and she's like telling me, like touching my shoulder, rubbing me and stuff, saying, "Oh, he's old, but he knows what he's doing in bed." And like, oh, the weirdest experience ever, bro. Right.
That's awesome.
Oh shit!
Did any of you get dunked on while you're over there?
No, I'm not that stupid, bro. There's some athletes over there, bro.
Like, I've heard so many interviews where people say the athleticism in the G League's like better than the NBA.
It honestly,
it probably is.
It probably is, bro. Like, I can't say I've played in the NBA, but yeah, it's like raw athleticism, bro. So crazy, man. Some of the things, like you be sitting on the bench or like just you're on the court and you're just like, did he really just do that? Like some of the shit that happened, crazy.
Will, did you get dunked on?
I do not believe so. I think I jumped out of the way on a couple. Like pretty much whenever I was under the rim, I just ran for it. I was like, no, fuck this.
Did you verse Westchester, Will?
No.
So there's a dude on that team, bro, named Kenny. I think it's like Kenny Atkinson.
Oh, is he like the center?
Bro, he's the most athletic dude I've ever seen. Apparently, RJ Barrett said he had like a piece of sticky tape on his hands and he put it on like the top of the backboard and they had to get a ladder to get it down. Like he's that athletic, bro. I remember like I think I like jab stepped and burned him and I thought I had like a wide open layup. Next thing I know, my shit was just getting swatted off the backboard. Like, he's so athletic, that dude.
I don't think it's Kenny Atkinson, though. I believe that's the former coach of the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't remember that guy.
I can't remember like some 55-year-old white guy playing.
It could have been him.
He was the most athletic dude in the G League, I'll tell you what. Man, he was jumping in those slacks.
Will sitting there like, I don't remember him.
But he was like
going, huh?
Yeah, no.
But,
I
think I do know who you're talking about. I think I know who you're talking about.
Kenny something.
He was the guy who was just blocking all the shots.
Oh, Kenny Wooten.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Kenny Wooten.
Yeah, okay.
I think
that sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably going to say Jeff Van Gundy was the most athletic guy in the G League next. So what are the plans now? Like, obviously, you guys are back here and uncertainty with this COVID stuff, but what were the plans before this? Was it to go back? Like, what were they?
I don't know. I would honestly be happy to go back to LA. Like, I didn't get much time there, so it'd be nice to spend a whole season there. I felt like I was only really like getting started towards the back end before it got cancelled. But my kind of plan is to just scope out NBL and see what happens there. I think LA were pretty keen on me going back as well, so we'll see what happens. Like, I might potentially go back. Who knows? It's kind of all up in the air at the moment, though. Like with COVID going on and everything. So yeah.
Just go back to Brisbane, mate.
I told him to come live with me.
Oh, well, don't do that, but come back to Brisbane.
Mate. Where are you playing? Where are you playing, Will?
Yeah, what do you got? What are you doing, Will? What's up? What's up with you?
We signed a 10-year deal at Brisbane.
Yeah, I signed a lifetime deal at the Bullets.
we both know you have not done that and will not do that. Yeah,
that's probably for the last year of my career ever. Is what I'll do. Is come back here. But
are you looking at NBL though?
No, well, before the season, I was going to go back to Houston, and see. They want me to go back there for next year. Hopefully, like sign like a 2-way or something like that. But the other day, just found out Sacramento were interested. So I mean, I'll probably go back over to the States, but just don't know where yet.
What about if have you guys spoken about the possibility that if you can't go overseas, like looking at something here?
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm scoping out NBL.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know what's going on with Corona.
Yeah, especially with like only 2 imports now, 2 per team.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. See what happens.
To wait and see, man.
Yeah, kind of all up in there. It's weird times at the moment.
Yeah, just don't know what's going to happen, really.
Let's talk about your NBL experiences, though. Kenny, obviously, here in Brizzy. Will in Sydney. How were those experiences? Obviously, Kenny, you were signed out of the AIS. Will, you were over in America at the time, weren't it? Because I remember I had some conversations with JVG from Sydney before you started speaking to you guys.
Yeah.
What were those experiences like, fellas? Either one of you go first.
I'll go first then.
Oh, go ahead.
No, well, I was in the States for a couple months, and it didn't look like I was going to be qualified to go to school over there. So we started kind of figuring out what's the next move, and then Sydney came in. So just had to bite the bullet and get out of there. It was an interesting experience. You're getting coached by Andrew Gaze, who was arguably the best player Australia's ever seen. You have an all-star team with Kev, Kev Lish, Newells, and all that. But we just weren't winning. But I enjoyed my time in Sydney. I learned a lot about being a professional, just being around Kevin all day, every day. It would have been nice to obviously win a few more games and have a playoff run. But just to start my professional career that way was eye-opening. But I think it was needed at that time.
You were on a Jekyll and Hyde team. You were on a crazy team, though. Who did you have? You had Greg Whittington. Was Josh Powell?
Yeah, Josh Powell. We had Jace, Kadee. Yeah, Newells, Kevin, Marich. We had
Steve Blake.
Steve Blake was gone before I think Will got there.
Yeah, I came in for Steve Blake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Bit of an upgrade, if you ask me.
Yeah, lucky you did. Otherwise, your fridge would have been empty, I hear.
All right.
Nah.
Why?
I heard he liked a beverage.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I need to say that around people with a bit more IQ, eh?
It doesn't hit.
I was sitting there for like 20 seconds waiting for something to click.
Well, I was going to go to Adelaide.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because Joey messaged me. But they had too many players.
Yeah, okay. Who were were there any funny incidents at training and stuff? Obviously, you had guys like Josh Powell and that, who I think Josh Powell got in a fight every game he was in. Surely something funny would have happened with Gazy's facial expressions, Josh Powell being the way he is. Greg Whittington even was a bit of a character.
Man. I don't know. I don't think there was any crazy incidents once I got there, but I heard there was some before. They didn't tell me what had happened, but they just said that things got crazy before I got there.
Did he speak at all, Josh Powell?
He tried to be inspirational all the time, and it was kind of weird for me. I was like, no, I'm not really into the inspirational stuff and all that. But
couldn't tell.
Yeah,
really.
I know, Greg and Kev got into it before I got there. Kev was telling me that they were trying to tell Greg that Kev was the best defensive player in the league, and Greg was just telling him he's terrible on defense and all that. And I don't know. Apparently they were about to throw hands, but nothing happened. That was the craziest thing I heard.
Yeah. Okay.
But
nothing happened? What about Gazy? What was he like playing for?
He was a very stressed man, I think.
He looked it.
Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah, I think he was angry because a lot of the guys didn't think that system would work in this day and age. But he was just so confident that it'll work, and nobody really wanted to run the system. And so it was pretty much we pretty much had two teams in one, the players, and then the players just didn't want to play for the coaches.
I heard Leonard was interesting though.
I'd honestly compare him to you. All he does is talk shit all practice, whole game. But he was usually pretty calm actually. When I was around him. at practice, he didn't really do much.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. I think I went and watched you one game. I think you won that one. I think it was against the Breakers. But then we were meant to go out and you didn't show. But, we won't bring that up. But
that's because the city's an hour away.
Yeah, that's true. You living at Homebush, right?
Yeah, I live right next to the arena.
Yeah, that sucks. That place is terrible.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
I hate Sydney, man. Don't even get me started on Sydney.
Yeah, I just hate New South Wales as a whole.
Will's acting like he leaves the house, bro. Will's acting like he actually does things apart from Will, you don't leave the house. It doesn't matter where you live.
What are you talking about? The only place you go down is to the beach and take a picture of your coffee and then you go home.
I don't have a beach across the road, man. If I did, I'd be there.
Yeah, bro.
What about you, Kenny? You were at the AIS, captain of an Australian junior team. Tell us how the Bullets came about and what that experience was like.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, it's super eye-opening starting your professional career like that young. I think you think you're way more mature than you actually are at 18. And I had such high expectations and things didn't really go as planned. But obviously, like, it's a new team in the league, like Brisbane's first couple years back. Andre was at the AIS while I was there, and he kind of just sold me on playing for Brisbane rather than going to college. And I had a few things with my grades and whatnot that I needed to get sorted. So kind of a good opportunity. I thought I was like ready. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's crazy because like I was living with a bunch of teenagers at the Tube, like a bunch of kids my own age, enjoying life, and then you go to a city where you've never been before, don't know anyone there, and you're around like 30-year-olds like every single day. It's super different. Like as much as you don't think it is, and as much as like you think it's just going to be normal, it's not. Like when like you have different interests and different things. There's definitely like a learning curve. Those couple of years in Brizzy, definitely a bit of a learning curve. But I'm glad it happened. Yeah.
Did you live with Fullo both years or just one?
Nah, just one. The second year. The first year, Mum was up in Brizzy. And the second year I lived with Fullo.
What was that season like? Did you guys come into it obviously with high expectations, but what sort of went wrong? Because you guys, I think you were at top spot at one stage, and then you just fell down all the way to, I think, finished on the bottom.
Yeah. No, I think, didn't we get wooden spoon both years? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, both years you were there, yeah.
I think like we weren't winning much, so it was a pretty stressful time. Whoa, is there a party going on in your crib?
Yeah. Is that Daryl Senior yelling, mate?
No, it's a party. It's a party every night here.
Yeah, nah, we weren't winning that much, so it was tough. Like, it was tough to be a young fella as well, in a locker room where we're losing all the time, trying to find your voice and whatnot. So, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, and then you came up to the Sunny Coast and played for the best coach.
Yeah, that was probably the worst decision of my career. When I played, that just,
should have came Spartans.
It took a lot to come back from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
This guy.
No, I went to Sunny Coast. Yeah, it was fun. It's fun playing with you.
It was fun, but we lost a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost more in those 3 years that I was in Brisbane and Sunny Coast than probably my whole life.
Really?
Like, it was tough because I was losing all the time. It was fucking shit, bro.
Mate, that first year at the Sunny Coast, we were in like every game and we would find ways to lose.
Bro. Yeah.
When it would look possible that we couldn't lose, we lost.
Yeah, it's like everyone decided, nah, we can't win. Let's just fucking throw this game. I reckon Goffey had some money on us losing.
Coffee, eh? Yeah, but then we went on a run at the end of the season, and then no one came back. Well, Fullo did, but then he quit up the fucking game
for a fucking week.
He loved me so much as a coach, he went to another sport. Shout out to Fullo. Oh my god! Yeah. But you guys knew each other from junior days. Obviously, you guys had some Do you guys have some battles at nationals and stuff?
What, me and Fuller?
No, you and Will.
Oh, me and Will.
Like one probably.
We smoked them
Well, we beat you.
once. But how many national championships did you win?
Why are we talking about that? We're talking about the individual matchup.
See, that's the problem. That's why you guys are shit.
No, that's why.
Actually, Kenny.
Hey,
how much do you guys win that semi-final by?
What semi-final?
Did you play him in that semi-final you were talking about?
They played New South Metro, didn't you?
We played Metro, yeah. They played.
Yeah.
Who'd you play? Vic Metro?
Yeah, I think so, probably.
Yeah, you guys got the easy final.
What, was Vic Metro the easier game?
Oh, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, we beat them in the bronze game by 20-30.
They were good, bro. They had heaps of talent. They were just fucking a shit team.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like,
they were just a terrible team. Like,
not gonna name names, but you know, questionable players.
And then you went and played under 20s nationals though, Kenny. You guys won 18s but lost the 20s. Is that right?
Yeah, so I won 16's top age and 18's top age, but
all right, mate. I didn't ask you about 16's top age, but way to bring it up.
I was going to tell you.
Yeah, mate. Like, calm down. Calm down. I remember when I was 15.
I will. Yeah, no, I played 20s 1 year, bottom age 20s, and I think we came like fourth. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
that's not a good effort.
Yeah.
Jesus, like not even a medal.
No buckets there.
Well, Kenny, when you were in LA, did you get to see the Lakers train and all that sort of stuff, or?
We were like on opposite schedules, so obviously when they were training, we weren't. But like you'd see them around every now and then and whatnot. But they don't train a whole lot. Like their season's so full on, they don't really train that much. It's more just like them getting up shots or whatnot. But yeah, I see them around. But
do you guys at least get free tickets to the game?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, don't sound so excited about it.
What am I meant to say, bro?
Yes, you played with Taylor and Horton Tucker as well. Like, who were some of the best players that you had on your team?
Taylor's a bucket, bro. He's going to be so good. He's like 19. Why are you raising your eyebrows, Will?
I mean, he didn't get buckets against us, but keep going.
This guy. Yeah, nah, he's a bucket. He's only like 19, I think. So I reckon you'll probably see him on the Lakers pretty soon. Like he was getting buckets for us anyway, not against Will maybe. But no, we had a good team. Like David Stockton played in the NBA a little bit. I think he had like a short stint in New Zealand.
Yeah, he played with New Zealand. Yeah,
he's good. We had Pierre Jackson, who's I think he was playing in China before that. He's just a bucket, just pure scorer. We had a pretty talented team.
And Kobe Carl's your coach too, isn't he? Son of George Carl.
Yeah. I didn't even know he like had a little stint with the Lakers. I knew he played.
Really?
Yeah, they posted like a video the other day of him like dunking in a Lakers game.
Yeah, he played for. I think he played for Cleveland as well.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he did.
Nah, he doesn't look like a basketball. But then again, I don't think I'm a fucking basketballer either when I rock up, especially in America with long hair.
No, you look like you're about to make an indie song. He looks like he's about to join the John Butler trio.
Oh my god, that's enough.
What about you, Will? Did you get to see Houston at all?
During the season, no, because we're like a 5-hour drive from Houston.
Who's in Mexico?
Yeah, that's right.
Pretty much on the border. So I mean, yeah, it was. But I mean, I watched them do training camp a little bit and all that. So it was pretty cool to see how, like people actually say Russ and James don't know the game, but they really do. They really do. Like it was cool to watch them, tell people like where they should be and like not in a bad way or anything, but just making sure that they are where they are, so like they put themselves in the best spot to do what they do best. But no, during the season you don't see them at all. I mean, they don't even ask about us. You know, the only thing I do is Daryl Morris is watching our stats for the game. That's about it. But you know, like it'd be cool if we were actually in Houston, then we could go watch them a lot more, and we could probably learn our system, like how to actually play our system and all that kind of thing. But like,
what is that system like? I think we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, and everyone talks about it. What is it like, and how is it like trying to learn it and stuff like that?
Like it's good for players who are ready to just come in, just ready to score. You know, for me, I'm pretty much the exact opposite. The last thing I want to do is score. So it was tough for me to get in the mindset of, if I see a little bit of daylight, it has to go up, or that'll be the last time you shoot for the game, last time you see the court. But you know, once there were games where we would really move the ball, and I could really see myself in the system, for the future and all that. But like there was just such a small sample size of that most of the season I was like, there's just no way I can play in this system, especially coming from Europe.
Would they actually talk to you if you shot a mid-range shot?
If you shot a mid-range shot, you just run straight.
That would be the reaction if you shot a mid-range shot.
Before the season, we had our team meeting or whatever, and coach pretty much said, if you shoot a mid-range shot, just backpedal to the bench. That's all it was. Like seriously, mid-range shot, unless you made it, or it was deep in the shot clock, you had nothing else to put up. But if you put up a mid-range shot, you're coming out straight away.
Yeah, wow.
I shot a mid-range shot at practice, and it was I think it was for the win of a scrimmage or something, and the other team was blowing up because apparently mid-ranges don't count at practice, and I had no idea. So I got my first session, so I just shot it, and it caused a big thing.
I'm just surprised that either of you shot the ball.
Yeah.
Me too. I was surprised it came to me.
Hey, you had a couple of good games at Summer League, though. You had one where you hit a couple of threes, had a few assists in 8 minutes or whatever. What was Summer League like?
It was cool. I was actually nervous because it was my first time playing in a long time, so I wasn't sure if I was ready to play at that speed. Because a lot of guys are trying to show what they can do. So they're guys are really going really hard, pretty fast, playing at really up and down, and coming from an Achilles injury, I'm coming back. I'm pretty slow, not as athletic as I used to be back in the day.
Back in the day, you're 21.
Yeah. Well, you retired at 22, so let's.
Yeah, but I was never athletic, so I can't say athletic back in the day.
But I saw you dunk and see warm up.
Yeah, that's true.
So, all right. Praise the Lord.
Keep going.
No, yeah. So I decided I'm just gonna turn myself into a shooter, just a spot up shooter. Because it's pretty hard to get past those guys. To be honest, it's pretty hard to get past those guys. With the physiques they have and the quickness, it's pretty hard for me to just be able to just blow by someone without a pick and roll. So and throughout the season, I told myself I might as well just work on something while I'm injured as well.
Yeah, okay. And that's you wanted to be a part of Summer League too, didn't you, Kenny? You wanted to try and get there next year or something?
Yeah, I was hoping I'd play Summer League, but don't know what's happening now, obviously.
Yeah. How would we talked about the difference in style between the NBL and G League.
Yeah.
But how would you compare it as far as talent-wise? A lot of people here say that they would beat the G League teams, but I'm sure the G League teams think differently.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I don't know. That's a hard question.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
It just depends on how the G League teams click and what the different personalities are like. If you have a team that really clicks and they're actually a team, not just a bunch of individuals trying to get buckets and move up to the NBA, then I reckon it'd be a pretty good game. G League probably get a couple dubs, but yeah, I don't know. Very different styles of basketball. What do you reckon, Mark?
Yeah. Well, I think the rules will play a big part in it.
Yeah, good.
So during All-Star break for the G League, the team who won the previous season we'll go to Europe and play they call it an international cup. So we went to Spain and played that, and to be honest, we just got our asses kicked because it was so much more physical. We didn't really have a true 7-footer in our team besides Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah.
We really didn't have a big body. And you go over there and they got 7-footers who just want to who just want to be physical and just be bruisers like they had back in the day. So we kind of struggle, especially with the defensive rules. Guys were just they were struggling. They just with the rules. The game itself was okay. It's just the rules just play a big part in it.
I think as well, they don't really. I don't want to say they don't put teams together in the G League to win, but in a sense, it's not like a normal team. In terms of positions, everyone's kind of around the same size on a G League court.
Yeah.
Bar maybe the center of each team. You get power forwards in the G League who are 6'6" or whatever, whereas in a professional team over in Europe or Australia, you'd never see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's different.
What is the selfishness like? You hear people talk about it all the time that it's hard in the G League because people just want to come in and get up their numbers, especially the guys coming back from the NBA. What is it like?
Well, I think for our team it was more them being told to do that instead of actually wanting to do it. For example, Chris Clemens, he every day he would tell us he doesn't really want to shoot that much. But if he wasn't shooting that much, Houston would tell him you can't, you're not coming up.
Yeah.
So you had him, Isaiah, on assignments. We had our two-way players where they were told you have to not shoot a certain amount, but you have to take over the game for 4 quarters, not just fourth quarter or whatever. Everything goes through you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What was the Sorry, you go.
No, I just said that's how it is.
What was the travel like as far as the way you guys traveled? Because a couple of years ago, people used to, I don't know if it's changed, but people used to complain about they used to do it on buses and all that type of stuff. What was it like?
It's fine. It's just NBL travel, basically.
Yeah, it's just the same.
Might have a half an hour bus trip or whatever, but
yeah,
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. Well, on the NBA, who you guys think was winning it if it went ahead?
Lakers.
Oh, of course, Kenny has to say the Lakers.
No. Well, I think the way LeBron was playing, I have to say the Lakers too.
Yeah. I think when you see the environment that they're around every day as well, bro, it's the best vibe there in that facility, and you can tell they genuinely all love each other, and you see their games, bro, they just love playing with each other. It looks like such a sick team to be a part of. So I reckon they had everything talent and camaraderie and whatnot. So yeah.
Yeah, and those last couple of games too against what was it, Milwaukee and Clippers, they were clicking too.
Yeah.
Going back to, we'll finish a little bit on your journeys, but who were the biggest influences in your, apart from family, we won't say family-wise, or maybe you can if you want, but influences in your sporting career from juniors right through?
That's a tough question. I had a bunch. I think Ian Rebilliard was my coach.
Moose
played at the Kings, and I think he coached at the Kings as well.
Yeah, he coached when they came back.
Yeah, he was my local club coach for the majority of my career. So I learned my basics and fundamentals of him, and then went to high school and was lucky enough to have a pretty good coach, Malin, the radar.
Sorry, Will's just at a childcare centre.
Working late hours.
Tim Allen was my head coach at high school, and he was a mentor for me. He's kind of under the radar, looks like a crazy scientist. If you
He's
see
a legend.
Will knows Timmy.
Yeah.
He was
Timmy, a legend.
A legend, bro. Such a good guy and a genius when it comes to basketball.
Yeah.
No one really knows because everyone thinks he's just a crazy scientist or whatnot.
Yeah.
But he helped me heaps, and he was actually a part of a couple of the Australian groups and whatnot. Yeah, Him, and then I don't want to miss anyone.
Just miss him. Fuck it.
What about you, Will?
Yeah.
Oh no, he's talking again.
Go ahead. I can't think.
Are you done, or is it what's happening?
Yeah. I was seeing if you wanted to push it to 101.
You guys had 2 people.
I was just a bit disappointed, but you know.
That didn't say you?
Hey,
don't worry.
Don't be afraid to say it, mate. If you got something, say it.
Oh, man. Cool.
What about you, Will?
Well, Brayden, I think it's pretty much just been dad, really.
Yeah, that's why I said you can include family if you want, because I do.
Yeah, because there's no one else. Because, I mean, it was different for me because, dad was at the top for so long. Not just at the top, he was with arguably the best team ever, best players ever. So he kind of just showed me, what it's like to be a professional. Pretty much. I mean, that's all you can say, really. He's been there from day one. Him and Mum's like Superman, does everything for us. And it's just, you always got to ask the little questions that no one else will ask if you want to, just rise above everybody else, even if it's just a little bit.
And I forgot what I was going to ask now after that. Can't remember. I'll cut this bit out.
Just shave your beard.
What's wrong with my beard, mate?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I trimmed it last night. Look at that. That's a perfect line.
The handlebars. That ain't it.
Yeah. Oh God,
that was sick.
That was not.
Well, I can't even call yours a beard, mate.
I don't even try to grow a beard. It just happens.
That's normally how you grow one. You don't throw compost on it, mate, and it grows.
Let's move on.
Wait, did you ever, like, I know you played AFL when you were a young kid, but did you ever think about doing the old switcheroo, like, what Tom's doing now, obviously, or did you ever think about going back to footy?
Well, I still think about it now, to be honest. Even with all the success I've had in my career, it's just. Seriously, I still do. Like, I'll still like. There'll be days where all I want to do is just go and kick a footy. Like, it's as simple as that. When I was about 14, 15, I tried to switch. Out of all people, Dad didn't let me and told me to stick with basketball. So, usually your parents know best, especially at those ages for you. And, I listened and said, I'll do whatever you do, whatever you want me to do. It worked out for the best, but, always in the back of my mind thinking, like, should I at least give it a go?
Who's better at a footy, though, you or DJ?
That would probably be me.
What a shocking answer!
If you look at the statistics, the premiership,
statistics. Who had stats for under 12?
All the best on grounds I got in the grand finals over Darryl. It was like, what else do you want? What more do you want?
I'll bet you when I ask him, he's going to say the same thing too.
I bet you he'll bring up one game where he kicked 6 goals. That's it. One game. Where I have a whole body of work just sitting here.
Mate, when I moved to the country of South Australia, I played AFL for 1 year because it was the only sport to play. We won every game by 50. You know where they put me? In the back pocket.
That's probably where you belong.
So I did not touch the ball at all.
The back pocket might be the worst position in footy.
Mate, it was boring as hell.
No,
sometimes I just go up, my coach would pull me off and be like, why are you in the forward 50? But, mate,
Why are you on the field, Brayden?
I'm like, mate, it took me an hour to get up here, but I'm here.
Oh, we're moving from the game. We were moving from the game before, bro.
Kenny, did you play any other sports?
Yeah, I played.
Oh no, here we go. He's going to tell us he was a rugby league superstar. Here we go.
I don't like rugby league. I played union.
That's worse.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yuck.
What are you talking about? Union's way better than league. No, I played union and soccer when I was super young, but yeah, I went to union.
But basketball was always the main.
I don't remember how old I was, but I had to decide between rep basketball and rep footy, and I'd just been playing basketball longer, and also I didn't really have the body to continue playing footy. Like I knew I'd have to put on bulk size, and I didn't want to do that.
Snapped in half.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 7 compound fractures.
What's the biggest game any of you guys have had during your career, like points wise?
I think like I don't know, in the fifth, my last game of at state, it didn't mean anything, but I had like I think like over 10.
And you got to repeat that because I couldn't hear it because Will keeps coming on because of
yeah, he's 27 kids in the background.
Who's
currently giving birth?
What? What'd you say?
Me.
Yeah.
I said who's doing the Indian chant in the background? I was going, yeah.
That would be Scarla.
That's Daryl.
That's how I've seen it. Oh shit.
Yeah, probably that game. Even though I meant nothing.
Well, you will.
Probably 50 something as well. You know, I mean, I didn't really do much scoring. So.
Probably 50 something. I didn't do much scoring.
No, I'm saying it's like I'm saying like I'm known as not scoring. So one day it was just,
okay.
It was one day where like it was a rep game. Like Daryl wasn't there. Like a lot of our players weren't there. So just it was probably the best option if I shot all the shots.
Who was your favorite teammate of all time?
Oh, the late great J Pez.
Yeah, true. Like, so, sorry to ask an emotional question, but how hard was that to deal with? Obviously, I was there as well at the funeral, but having someone, obviously, we were all close with, or Kenny knew him, but we were really close with. What was that like to deal with?
That was probably the hardest thing because I was in Germany at the time, so by myself, no one really to talk to about anything. But the worst thing was that, like whenever we saw him, he was just always so happy and like upbeat and like nothing really bothered him. So, the toughest thing was hard. The toughest thing for me was to hear how he passed away. That was the toughest thing for me. Like he chose to go. So that's like, it's still stuck with me today. We just saw Brandon Molina like the other day, and it's always emotional when you have to talk about him.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all been through it, all three of us. I know Kenny, we've been through it when we were up at the sunny coast and stuff, some mental stuff, like how important, obviously, like I said, you've been through it, how important, like a priority is that for you guys, for you now to look after your health and stuff like that?
Yeah, huge. It's bigger than anything, really. Like, and it puts things into perspective. Like basketball's not the all and end all kind of thing. You kind of when you realize that, like, you enjoy your life as well. You can't just be grinding every single day, all day, and expect to be happy. Like, you got to take time. It's been tough. I definitely had my time, especially in Brisbane. I had some pretty tough times, like just mentally. I think everyone goes through it, obviously, but I think you need to sometimes go through that. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize how important it was until I went pro. You start to, go through those struggles. And I don't think many people realize, like, outside of professional basketball, how hard it is, like, mentally. I think, like,
keep talking.
way harder mentally than it is physically. Yeah, so I know it's tough. And
How do you deal with that stuff? Obviously, Will, have you been through that sort of stuff? Like I know we have, but how hard is it to deal with, especially when you're in another country or you're in a place when you're sort of on your own and stuff like that?
What I do, I just try to keep myself busy. When you're isolated and by yourself, you kind of tend to think about those things. So, like, after Jeremy went, when I came back, I didn't really spend much time at my own house. Or if I did, one of my teammates was always with me. But, that was probably the toughest period of my life. But, like, the thing people don't get is, like, we don't want to be seen as just basketball players. Like, we want to be seen as more than that, like an actual person. Like, people see, like, if I walk out in Brisbane, people are like, he's the basketball player, basketball this, basketball that. Like, no one really, there's only a handful of people that will actually get to you as a person.
yeah,
And that's why, you see a lot of people who have really small circles that are, high profile people.
Yeah. I think when that happened with Jeremy as well, like obviously I didn't know him that well, but I played against him. I knew Will was really close with him, and you were really close with him too. I think like the hardest thing for me as well was like knowing that Will was over in Germany by himself.
Yeah.
Like that's hard to know. Like one of your best mates is over in Germany, like, and one of his best mates just passed, and the way he did as well, and he's got no one to speak to about it. Half the people don't. 99% of the people don't ever speak English.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing to kind of think. So I made sure I was like checking up on him, even though he fucking hates to talk and never talks to anyone.
Accurate.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's important to talk to your mates and actually talk about things, get it out verbally, not just bottle it up inside.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't know that me and Kenny have actually had a lot of those kind of deep conversations. Like, a lot of people will see us out and we're just talking shit. Like, I'd probably say 100% of the time. But, like, there's been a lot of times where me and Kenny, like, especially when he was in Brisbane or I think it was just after he left, like, we had a lot of, like, conversations like that, just, like, put everything into perspective for us.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is, like, surrounding yourself with good people too. Like, that gets you through. Like, obviously talking, but obviously we know as guys, like, sometimes people don't want to talk, but when you're around good people, you can kind of hide it. Like, me and Kenny always say, lucky we were around each other at the Sunny Coast, because that was tough times. And then when I moved back to Brisbane and I was around my other close mates and family and stuff, it all changed for me. And then being in a good situation like Logan, which was a completely different environment, as you know, Kenny, to the Sunshine Coast, was completely different. But yeah, like, how important is that, just to surround yourself with good people? Obviously, you guys have been around both sides. I'm sure you've been around some bad people that have had bad impacts on your lives and careers and stuff like that. But how important is that side?
Yeah, no, it's huge. I mean, it's everything. Like you become, people who you're around influence you so much, and it's hard to be around people who can't open up and have a deep conversation. It's really hard for me to be around these days because, like, don't get me wrong, I like talking shit just as much as anyone else. Like, me and Will talk that much is fucking bullshit, like, all the time. But at the same time, I know I can, like, have a deep conversation if something's wrong. And I think you need that, like, especially dudes that just get caught up in just fucking around and being a tough guy. But at the end of the day, you need someone who you can really speak to about your problems. Like, when we were in Sunny Coast, like, me and you were both in pretty bad places, but we kind of got each other through, just, being around each other every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's easier to be around people who know what you're going through as well. Like, for me, like, I'm best with, like, other athletes who have gone through shitty times as well. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes people back home don't really understand, like, what you're going through as much as they'd like to understand. They just can't. Yeah.
I think it all comes too from, like, we're all doing stuff when we're really young. Like, obviously you guys stepped into the professional world when you were young, and I stepped into the coaching world when I was young, and I probably wasn't ready for the pressure that came with it. How tough is that? Like you mentioned a bit, Kenny, before, but how tough is it doing, these things when you are so young as well?
So hard. I mean, like, you think you're ready, but you're really not. Like, no one's really ready to be a professional athlete at 18. I mean, I always thought I was ready as well, and then it just kind of hits you all at once. Like, fuck, I didn't know you had to do this. Didn't know this was happening. Didn't know. You learn on the go basically, and you learn like through your mistakes. So it's tough.
What about you, Will? Especially like in Brisbane, like both years were built up from a young age. Did that add pressure at all? Like being built up from such a young age, like under 14s, really, to when you joined the professional world. Did that add pressure to the whole thing?
Like personally, I don't really like to put too much pressure on myself. My mentality was like, it's just basketball. Like, we do this every day. Like, what's there to be nervous about? All that kind of thing. It was just more other people would. I think not. They were more nervous for me, which then can put pressure on myself to like, okay, I have to make it, or this person's going to be in a bad spot because of me. Like everything's going to be because of me. And I think you don't realize you're making other people's lives until you make decisions for yourself. I know it sounds pretty bad, but like I didn't know how much power you had as a player. Like you can pretty much do anything you want as a player. Like when I decided to leave Germany, my family was in such a better place when I was here. When I was there by myself, no one could reach me. I would shut myself off. I said, "No, this is it. It's over." Came back, and it was like, I think the best thing was having Skylar right around the time I came back. So she kind of gave me a new life. With everything that was going on. But like, I don't like to use the word pressure because I don't think pressure comes from yourself. It just comes from everybody else.
Yeah.
Like if you put no pressure on yourself and you just like me, just say it's just basketball. Most of the time, it's going to work out anyway.
Yeah. I think that's it too. Like, as you guys know, as a coach, I'm pretty confident, but I wasn't expecting the pressure that we got that first year at the Sunny Coast. Like after we lost a couple of games, like after knowing we didn't have like a really big budget and we had a pretty young team and stuff like that. And then after the first couple of losses, even after the first loss when we lost to Rip, like the pressure everyone was putting on us was insane. Like, a lot of people probably didn't see it, but you saw it being around and playing. But it was a crazy environment, hey.
Yeah, it was.
But when you were growing up, Kenny, how did you deal with being hyped from such a young age and stuff like that?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't really struggle with it when I was young.
Yeah,
I think that's why it made it so much harder when I was like older, and I started to experience those things at 18, 19 through like my first couple of years being a professional. Is because I never experienced it as a young fella. Like I was always just like playing well, always winning, always on good teams. I never really had like. I obviously had lows and like missed out on teams and certain things like that and had my struggles, but like didn't really feel pressure or didn't really like let it get to me or whatever. It was only until I was pro. The outside noise kind of affects you more so than anything. Like what Will was saying, like I'm fine internally, but outside it just like I don't know, it's a bit overwhelming sometimes.
What sparked you back up? Obviously, you played for NBL 1 in Dandenong last year. Did that spark it back up, or what helped?
Well, I had my knee injury. Obviously, it was probably like a couple weeks. Pretty much dislocated my knee to the point where my kneecap was like on the side of my knee. Had a big surgery. Rehab was pretty full on. And that kind of like, even though it was a bad thing, it kind of refreshed me. Like I put a reset button on myself. and kind of just enjoyed rehab and got back to it. And then I got back to basketball. I just enjoyed basketball for what it is. Putting so much pressure on myself. And yeah, I mean, I played all right at Dandenong, just kind of getting my legs back and whatnot. But I think, to be honest, LA was the first time where I really like enjoyed basketball again, because I hadn't played in 3 years or so. And I finally started to play in LA, and I was really enjoying it. So probably then, but yeah, I think the knee injury kind of sparked everything back up for me.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, I think we've gone for over an hour.